What's up, YouTube? This is Boston SM89, guys. Today I'm coming to you with my latest deck profile video for January 2020, and today we're going to be looking at my updated Salmangreat deck for the January 2020 format. Alright, so before we get started, yes, I am going to address the ban list issue that happened with this deck. We lost Miragestallio out of the extra deck, so we can no longer special summon Gazelle right from the deck to the field anymore. Okay, historically speaking, cards like MX Saber Evoker and even Orchest Harp Horror on the current list, which special summon monsters from the deck to the field, they've gotten banned. So it makes sense that Miragestallio would join the ranks. Yes, a pretty big dark cloud for Salamangreat. A lot of players kind of dropped the deck because they thought the deck was dead. They just completely overlooked the fact that there's a silver lining on the ban list when we got Lady D back to 3 full copies for the deck. And anytime you can boost the overall consistency for the main deck, losing one single card out of the extra deck is going to be a win. Alright? So, further ado, I'm going to dive right into this. Start off with the heart and soul of the main deck. Salmangreat Gazelle. What can I say? Whenever a Salmangreat monster is sent to the graveyard, you're going to be special summoning this card from your hand, and then pitching a Salmangreat card from your deck to the graveyard to build your resources in your graveyard and basically help further your turn's plays moving forward. Alright? Definitely something that we need to turn around and keep recurring every turn, since we only have one copy in our decks right now. Alright? Salmangreat Foxy! Normal summon Foxy. Excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. If there's any Salmangreat cards among those 3 cards, pick one of them, add to your hand, the others are shuffled back into your deck. So it's kind of like the power duality for the Salmangreats. Foxy does have an amazing in-graveyard effect. You can target a face-up spell and trap your opponent controls. You pitch a Salmangreat card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon Foxy, and pop that card. So it can help combat back row heavy decks. Alright. 2 copies of Salmangreat Spinny. 2 copies, all you really need anymore. Hand trap ability to power boost your monsters by 500 attack. But the main effect that a lot of players like to use it for is bringing it out of the graveyard back onto the field to help extend it to rank 3 or even other rank or other higher link rated plays. Excuse me. Just be careful when link summoning after you reincarnate this card with its own effect, because you're going to be banishing Spinny. So you don't want to be out-resourcing yourself. I do have something to combat that in the extra deck, and we'll get to it in a bit. Alright? 1 copy of Salmangreat Falco. Send it to the graveyard. Get a Salmangreat spell and trap card back from the graveyard to your hand. Huge. You can bounce a card, Salmangreat card that you have on the field back to your hand. Special summon it in play from the graveyard in its place. So, yeah, it does have some pretty good plays. Can help open up rank 4 plays as well. So, keep that in mind. Salmangreat Foul. Just an amazing extended card for Salmangreat. Whenever you normal or special summon a Salmangreat monster, you can special summon this card right from the hand. Typically, you're going to be doing this alongside Gazelle to chain block Gazelle's effect, so Gazelle's effect can go off. Alright. 2 copies of Jack Jaguar. Why 2 copies? Because Call by the Grave is a thing this format. Alright? Shuffles a Salmangreat monster back into the main deck or the extra deck to special summon itself to a zone a link monster points to. Okay? It does have the ability to inflict piercing damage on monsters in defense positions. That does come up every now and then, so keep that in mind. Alright? Three copies of Lady Debug. I'm just loving to see 3 copies of Lady Debug in this deck again. It helps the deck out so well. Whenever this card is summoned, you're basically searching your deck for a level 4 or lower Cyberus monster to add to your hand. Just amazing to have in your deck. Alright, and the last Cyberus monster that I'm having in my deck is 3 copies of Flame Buffalo. Now, for a time there, I was considering cutting Flame Buffalo from the deck overall. Typically, I really didn't like it because its effect didn't really come off all that much for me. I didn't really have another Cyberus monster to discard in the hand. With this current build, yeah, I do, and its effect does help build into better boards if you happen to have it as one of your starter cards. Send this card to the graveyard, pitch another Cyberus monster, you draw 2 cards. So, yeah, definitely worth having in this build. 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It's pretty standard in all Salamangreat decks. You have to run 3 copies. We curd off Sunlight Wolf or even a certain rank 3 monster that we have in an extra deck. You get the idea. You can use this multiple times. Help cause problems for your opponent. So, always good. I do run 2 copies of Effect Veiler in this deck. My deck is a little bit more negate heavy than a lot of other players like to run. Effect Veiler can be utilized multiple times in a turn, so it is a very good problem card against your opponent. If you don't like this card in this particular build, you can always remove it and put in other hand traps like maybe like Ghost Ogre or DD Crow to help combat the current metagame. So there we got 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is necessary for this format. We have a lot of graveyard-based decks out there. Salamangreats will be a thing. Orchists will be a thing. Spirals will be a thing. Hell, Sky Strikers, even with Engaged Band, is a thing. Oh my god. Excuse me, guys. Yes, this card is necessary. You have to be running this in all your decks at 3. Alright. 3 copies of Silent Mining. Pitch card, search your deck for a level 4 level Cyberus monster, gives you access to all your Cyberus cards. Definitely worth having. 1 copy of Foolish Burial, sends Falco from your deck to your graveyard so you can get your resources back from your graveyard. 1 copy of Salamangreat Circle, searches out a Salamangreat monster from your deck. It is a quick play spell, so you can also do it during your opponent's turn. Or you can protect a reincarnated Link monster using its second effect. So, puts in double duty. Salamangreat Sanctuary. What can I say? Sanctuary is pretty damn awesome. It's the heart and key card to the reincarnate Link strategy, allowing you to basically use a Link monster for the full cost of reincarnate Link summoning another Link monster of the same name. And typically you get extra effects off those Link monsters when you do that, so yes. Definitely worth it. It does have another effect where basically you could bottom out your monster's attack to increase your life points by the same amount. Doesn't come up that often, but hey, if you could turn around and do that to boost your life points at the end of the game, end of duel, end time, go for it. Will of the Salamangreat, 2 copies, that's what I need. It's a monster reborn for Salamangreat monsters, bringing back one Salamangreat monster just off its first effect. Its second effect, if you have a reincarnated Link summon monster on the field, you can send Will to the graveyard and special summon Salamangreat monsters up to the Link rating of that reincarnated Link monster. So you can basically get like a soul charge effect off this card, which is just huge. Alright. Back row. Like I said, I run more back row than a lot of other players do, but the primary reason why I do is because I just love being interrupting my opponent's plays. 2 copies of Lost Winds. Primary reason why I run 2 copies is basically because it's literally just 4 negates. Your opponent special summons a monster, you can negate that monster's effect till the end of the turn, and not only that, but you cut that monster's attack in half, making it a lot easier for some of your Salamangreat monsters to actually get over it. Awesome. This card's in the graveyard. Your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck. You're sending this card back to the field, but it banishes itself when it leaves the field. So, yes, 4 negates in 2 cards. Alright. Salamangreat Rage. To be very honest, this card is easy to recur off of Sunlight Wolf or Falco's effect, so one is all you need. Basically, when you activate this card's first effect, you pitch a card, Salamangreat card from your hand to the graveyard to pop 1 card off your opponent's field. If you control a reincarnated Link monster on your field, you can just target up to cards on your opponent's field equal to that reincarnated Link monster's Link rating and then destroy them. So yes, it does awesome amount of work. I also like 2 copies of Salamangreat Roar, similar to that reasoning of Lost Wind. It's 4 negates in 2 cards. Helps block monster effects, spell, or trap cards, so it just is huge. It can recur itself back in the field when you reincarnate Link Summon, so yes, definitely worth having 2 cards. There will be times you want to have cards on your back row going into your opponent's turn just to help give you extra interruptions. So 2 is the optimal number that you want to have of Roar. And last but not least, I run 3 copies of Solemn Strike. What can I say? It blocks inherent summons like Link Summoning, Exceed Summoning, Synchro Summoning, Pendulum Summoning. So it does put in work with that. It also blocks monster effects as well. So yes, 3 more negations. Definitely worth having in this deck. That's the main deck. On to the extra deck. First and foremost, we're going to cover the win condition for the deck, and that's going to be Pyro Phoenix. Pyro Phoenix, when you reincarnate Link Summon this card, nukes your opponent's side of the field. One-sided nuke. From there, you can build your field, swing big for game. If you can't put enough damage on board to swing from game, it does have a few other effects. You can bring back one of your opponent's Link monsters and then hit them for burn damage equal to that Link monster that you brought back's original attack. Awesome. Definitely something that you want to have in your extra deck from now on. Salamangreat, Heat Leo. Heat Leo basically can deal with problematic back row cards. And when it's reincarnated Link Summon, it can bottom out your opponent's monster's attack depending on what fire treatment monster you target in your graveyard. Ash Blossom is typically the target you want to have because it bottoms out to 0, but Balings is a good option because it's 500. Alright? 3 copies of Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight Wolf is just an amazing card. Recurs resources whenever a monster is summoned to the zones it points to. Specifically, a monster from your graveyard back to your hand. Gazelle is going to be typically the target. The other effect, when it's reincarnately summoned, you're getting back a spell or Salamangreat spell or trap card from your graveyard back to your hand automatically, which is just huge. Needs to be played at 3. So important for the deck. 3 copies of Salamangreat Balings. Why 3 copies now? Basically because you're burning through both your copies in your first turn now. You're going to want to have a 3rd copy in there just in case. Balings, when it's Link Summon, can search out Sanctuary to add to your hand to help with the reincarnate Link Summon strategy. While it's in the graveyard, if one of your Salamangreat cards would be destroyed by battle or card effect, banish this card instead to protect that card. Heat Up, generic Link 2, really more for the mirror match to steal your opponent's resources out of their graveyard. Very handy in that regards. Nightmare Phoenix deals with back row. Moving forward, we have Abyss Dweller. What can I say? Abyss Dweller locks down the graveyard effects for a turn and can make it hard for your opponent to do anything, so that's why it's very key in this deck. Alright. To help bring back your Spanish Spinnies, I am running a copy of Levier, the Sea Dragon, just to help get Spinny back onto the field. If you don't particularly like this card, the other rank 3 that I would definitely turn around and suggest you run would probably be something like Nightmare Shark, just to help push for extra damage. Alright? And last but not least, we have a copy of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist, Lion Emperor. Lion Emperor is actually pretty damn awesome because when you detach a material, you can target a level 3 fire attribute monster to add back to your hand. So it's another way to get Gazelle out of the graveyard back into your hand to keep your plays going. It has 2200 attack, so it's pretty beefy and can really help out the deck when pushing for damage. Alright guys. That is it for my Salamangreat deck for the January 2024 meta, guys. I hope you like it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on my channel, make sure to subscribe, enable notifications so you don't miss a single upload. Check out the description box below. I have my social media links there. You can check me out on Twitter and Reddit. I'm also have a Discord server. Join the conversation. We would love to have you. And if you want to help support the channel, please consider using my TCG Player affiliate link down in the description box below. Using that affiliate link when you shop on tcgplayer.com does help support my channel in the long run. Allows me to get better cars to bring you better content. Alright? So guys, as always, until next time, peace!